And although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and, being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us because we're the one little bit of hope that they have to have a warm meal in their bellies and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone, because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big, and it's impacting hundreds and thousands of families. So I thank you, I love you, I look forward to doing this with you today. My name is Serena Buffalino, and I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. Help Heal Humanity is a charity that is focused on unconditional giving, love, and support to some of the most vulnerable communities in the world.
Good morning, lady. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Barbara. How are you doing this morning?
I am wonderful. I love, because I can see people down below in the green room, and I just see you just smiling and dancing. I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Start your day off just all happy and, just moving, just moving and
right.
moving.
Yeah. And it is a choice.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. Some days it's a little harder to make that choice, but you know what? We do have a choice. So, yeah. So yeah, we got a great show today. We're going to have fun. So what's new with you?
What's new with me? Well, first, before we even go there, because I know we usually forget this, so we're going to try to bring it. My name is Barbara J. Beckley, and I am the CEO of the Diamond Factor Network, and a lot of other things that I do. But the biggest thing I love to do is help people bring their genius and show up. And what I mean by that is visibility. Visibility is the key. I don't care what you're doing in life. This is what I do. I'm kind of your cheerleader. I'm the one that finds ways and gives opportunities for you to say, okay, this is me. I need people to know who I am because, as I say, Barbara, we're all lighthouses to the world.
Right.
We are. You know what we do. And you do what you do, which is amazing. And I do what I do. And I know our guests are wonderful that's coming on. And I don't want to say anything because I want him to bring his brilliance. But yeah, that's what I do. So I'm going to let you say what you do so brilliant, and then we'll get into the conversation.
All right. And you're right. We tend to not introduce ourselves because we just think everybody knows us and we're just world famous. So, why not? Anyways, I'm Barbara Ellison, and I am the founder of Wellness Playroom for the best version of you. And, and being the best version of you is just an everyday thing that we get to do. I mean, I have found so often that we go through life just kind of like, trying to do more, achieve more, have more. And then all of a sudden we think, oh yeah, and I call it realizing your future you.
Yes.
And seeing through the eyes of your future you. Well, you know what? In order to realize your future you have to start today. Because who do you want that future you to be? Who do you want to become? And that's one of the things that I have really been for myself, for my clients, for people I work with. Hey, let's all do something that is going to elevate not only ourselves, but the vibration of the world, the vibration of the things around us in what we do. I mean, you can have a mundane job, and yet, you know what? You can give it pizzazz. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's all in your attitude.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, you drop some golden nuggets, lady, like you always do. It's all in attitude, like you said. Like you said earlier, it goes back to the choice. What choice are you going to make? Are you going to have the choice of being pissed off all day and saying, you know what, I got up on the wrong side of the bed and just let the whole day go by that way? Or say, you know what? No, because the energy needs to come, because once it comes from you, then everybody you meet and everything you do is going to go into that energy level. Yeah.
And one of the things that I do every morning, I have a theme song. And I play my theme song because my theme song, it just really gets me into me.
What's your theme song?
My theme song is A Space Odyssey from the movie 2001. That crescendo, because that was the birth of, science fiction at the time, but it was the birth of a planet. And that is the birth of me. And so when I put that on, it just, and sometimes it brings me to tears because, and one of the things that I share with people, if you have a dream, and if your dream doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough. Go bigger. Go bigger, because we are all here for a reason. We all have a purpose. And sometimes we just need to really don't settle for a small purpose. Gee, what do you have for me? And put it out there. And you'll be surprised that an answer will come back. And for me, it comes from God. But if that's not your spiritual practice, then the universe will answer you, because we're all connected. We are all connected.
Yes. I love that. Well, I love your theme song. I have a theme song too. It's funny you mentioned about theme songs, because I never really told nobody that I had a theme song every day. And I'm glad you brought it up, because I'm not alone. Probably a lot of other people have it too. But
it's a good idea, because it starts your day.
Yeah. Mine's is Elton John, I'm Still Standing. Because in spite of it all, everything that I've been through, everything that I dealt with in life, I am still standing strong, and I'm not letting anything get in the way, even though if things come. So yeah, I'd be like, because the song, and I just be like,
I'm still standing. That's the one.
Yeah.
Exactly. And right now, especially at this time of the year, this is the time of year that we are supposed to be having. It's going to be a time of joy and a time of celebration. But we all know that this time of year also brings stress, emotional, financial, all of those things. And we can choose to navigate, and that, I think that is the greatest word. We can navigate through that hustle, bustle, and get to peace and grace.
Yes, yes.
Because it's so important. And I think the number one thing, which goes along with our guest that's coming on, Evan, is prioritize your self-care.
Yeah, definitely. Because like you said, Barbara, this is the kind of, like you said, this is the time, especially Thanksgiving coming around, and then Christmas and everything, and then the New Year's.
And then
mental health is very important right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, everybody's going to have their time, especially if they're maybe alone or if they lost a loved one around this. You know, there's a lot of things can come up, and you got to make sure you're okay. And this is where I tell people to do the check-ins. And I always tell people the check-ins are so important, and it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out phone call. That's why I keep telling people. I said it could be a little meme or something to send a little message in a messenger or a text and say, you know, I love you, or I'm thinking about you, I'm giving you virtual hugs, something, because you never know how that's going to touch the other person on the other side, because they might be going through something right now.
Right. Exactly. And, you know, and because we must make time and like carve it out if you have to. Set a timer, put it on your calendar. Just take 5 minutes to breathe. You and I talk about that a lot. Breathe. People, that's why it is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. We automatically breathe, but it's mindless breathing because our body does it for us. But when you intentionally breathe, take that intentional time to breathe, to relax, and then engage in an activity that replenishes your soul. I always call it that makes your soul sing. And whenever this comes up, I think, oh, brother, I'm really, and my imposter syndrome, of course, my imposter says to me, you're really going to talk about that again? Yes, we are going to talk about it again because it is so important.
Yes.
Because if we don't take care of ourselves, nobody can do it for us.
Thank you.
So one of the things, the other night, my son and I, we met, you know, we meet for a meal.
The meal.
And, you know, because we live a fair distance apart from each other. So we meet halfway. So we met halfway and we each have a 35-minute drive. It's just perfect spot in the middle. Anyway, so after we came out of and we had sat for like almost 2 hours for dinner, just because we were chatting and catching up and all that kind of stuff. Well, then we came out and it was like we were both going to get ready to get in our cars because we were parked beside each other. And he said, you know what, Mom? He said, let's go for a walk.
Oh, that was nice.
And it was just a beautiful night. And so we just went around the buildings. Well, guess what? You wouldn't believe the things we saw as we walked around the mall buildings. We saw another restaurant that we think we're going to try. We saw just the different ways that people can, then the office buildings, different things that people can come to for wellness, for not performance, but for like athletics, sports, like a sports place. It was like, oh, we didn't know that was there. And so it just made us curious as we were walking around. Well, let's see what else is here. And that's when we saw a lit patio. And we went, I wonder what that place is. And, you know, so do something, go for a walk, and don't just go for a walk. We were talking, yes, but we had already spent almost 2 hours talking. So we were just looking around going, oh, gee, what else is here? Get curious about what else is around you.
Curiosity. You know what? I love that. I love that you took the time, even after the dinner, that you two still went around and because, you know, usually when, you know, children become adults and, you know, they're moving on in life, it's kind of hard to pull them back a little bit and say, okay, spend some time with me still. I know you're doing your thing, but, and I love how your son is taking the time out still to be with his mother and to do those things and just to do that walk, just
and
it
was his suggestion, and it was just we came out and it was just, you know, Indian summer in Chicago. You can't beat it. It is just gorgeous. It's almost balmy, but it's not hot or humid. And it was just such a cool thing. So it was right. So just do that. So that's one of the things that I'm so glad we're having Evan on, because he's a health and fitness, and he has Living Fit. And it's like, so this is one of the things, it is so important, especially at this time of year, especially at this time of year.
You know, before we bring on the wonderful Evan, I was going to say another thing, and this is self-care. This is going to a little self-care for me, that I joined this past week is an accountability group. So I've been wanting to work with this one coach. His name is Christopher Raoof. I don't know if you know him or heard of him. Awesome guy. I've been knowing him through HHH, Help Heal Humanity, which we both are on the board. And he's called the No Excuse Coach. And he's always saying, okay, every time you say something, he's okay. Is that an excuse? You know, he always catches me. And I say, oops, no, yeah, that doesn't sound like an excuse. Let me calm that down. So now he has this group, accountability group. And he asked me again, he said, Barbara, I'm starting it out if you want to be a part of it. And I finally said yes, because I was telling him, I said, you know what? I'm tired of being sick and tired of me being sick and tired.
Right. Exactly.
All this stuff going on. I mean, I got things that I need to do, and I keep like, well, I can't get to that at the time, you know. Right. And I said, you know what? I need somebody to be.
And we make time for the things that we
want to do.
Finally realize that we have to, that we want to do, that we want to. Not that we have to do, but we get to do, that we want to do.
Yeah. So I wanted to do this, and I made the time to sign up for it. We had our first session with everybody last Monday. We meet twice out the month, and then we had to meet with our accountability partner every week.
Yes.
And then every other day we check in with each other by messenger to say, okay, because we pick 3 things we want to finish throughout the week.
Right.
And then we check in every other day to see how we're doing.
See what you're doing.
Not just seeing how you're doing, but to say, okay, did you get something done, the little thing you want to get done? Well, no, I didn't get it done. Well, why didn't you get it done? Well, this happened. Well, why did it happen to make you? So we had to dig. He wants to dig. He doesn't want to say, okay, well, you'll get it done next 3 or 4 days. No problem. Yeah, no. It's like, no, well, let's
didn't you?
Reasoning for this. So so I'm having fun right now.
Yeah. And it's so funny that you're saying that, because I've joined yesterday a 21-day challenge of like accountability. Like, we all got to set what we wanted to do in the next 21 days. And so yesterday, the thing for yesterday, when every day is going to have one thing. So yesterday, our thing was to post in the group of what was going to be our one thing that we want to do in the next 21 days. So it was like, okay. And now today, I believe she said our question today is going to be, so what's one thing that you're going to do towards that?
See. So this building.
and so we have to put in something every day in the group. It takes 2 minutes. Why do we resist it?
I know
why do we resist?
I wish I could answer that. I wish I could.
And I have not found it. We just, I don't even know what it is. We get caught up in doing other things, and we put ourselves last. We do for everybody else, our clients, our families, our businesses, our whatever, and we put ourselves last. So this was like, ooh, both of us are on the same. Okay, so now we're going to have to keep track of each other.
We're accountable for being what we're part of.
Being accountable. That's why that's why this show is, because we talk about the things that we're doing that are happening in our lives.
Yeah.
And people need to know that people are out there that, hey, we are no different. Just, people say once, do you ever have somebody say to you, oh, but you have a podcast. Yeah. That doesn't make me any different than what you do. Just because we are more visible out there of what we're doing. Okay, fine. Yeah. That's fun. And I love doing it. I love this podcast.
Yes.
In fact, I'm going to brag for 1 minute. I'm going to be a guest on another podcast later on this morning. And it is so fun to do. So fun to do. And I'm disappointed when I can't do it. But what I want people to do is find that thing. Like you and I love doing podcasts, and now you've had to admit that you like doing it too.
Yes.
But find that thing that you feel that way about.
Yes.
And that's what's going to make your soul sing.
Yeah. And that's that passion and that purpose. And I always say that drive in you that moves you, every day. So when you do get up in the morning, even if you're feeling like, but you still got that purpose in you that's pushing through the That's why I tell people, when you got something that's pushing you through the of a day, that means that it's strong in your life, that it's inside of you. You can't do anything because you love doing what you do. Right. So
exactly.
We're going to bring on Mr. Evan. I know he's waiting in the wings here. Mr. King, I always call people royalty when they come on the show. So before that, we got to make our sponsors smile a little bit. So
we have to let their songs, their souls sing too.
Yeah, let their songs sing for a minute. We'll be right back.
Friday, everyone. Your real worth isn't defined by your net worth. What makes you valuable is how you use what you have been given. All of us have gifts. Make sure you're making the most of yours. Have an amazing Friday.
It is now the bottom of the hour. I'm excited to welcome Nancy Matthews to our program today. Nancy is an author of a book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for you guys. There it is, The One Philosophy. We're going to talk to Nancy not only about the re-release of the book, but also what it's been like for her to share the message with all of you guys. Nancy, great to have you on with us.
Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
And we're back.
Everyone.
Hello. So if you're just chiming in right now, you have made it into the Time to Shine Happiness show with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley, Barbara Ellison, the BBs, and our wonderful king that's a guest on the show, Evan. Is it Raoof?
Raoof. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm in the right place. Is this the happiness show?
Okay. This is the happiness show.
I love listening to you guys talk beforehand because I was trying to figure my song. My song is Eye of the Tiger.
Oh.
And Party Train by the Cat Band. Anyway, so depending on what mood I'm in. But anyway, I'm very excited to be here. So thank you very much.
You are very welcome. I met Evan on LinkedIn. No, I didn't on Lineable.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it has been just a fun thing. And we've done a couple of connection things together. And so it was just really fun. And when you have similar passions, you kind of gravitate to each other. So that's
I'm glad you said Alignable because I know I've been getting like different requests on there, but I didn't know how it worked. But now that you met this king, I'm going to have to get into it.
We can talk about it later. But, health and fitness is my passion. I love it. And helping people. Really, my passion really is health and fitness and really getting people present to what matters most in life. Because I've changed my tune the last few years because most people don't care about their health. They care about the moments they share with their family and friends. And also in business, we need to be more profitable. So all relates to those things. And learning a new skill set is really part of the process. And learning, that's really the opportunity is learning a new skill set to really learn the magnificence of what your body can really, how your body can perform for what you really want to do in your life. So you guys had some great conversations in the beginning. I was listening about accountability and all these things. So these are all tying into health and fitness and all the aspects of that we talked. So.
Wow. Well, Evan, I'm curious because I always ask all our guests that come on and pulling the curtain a little bit on, you've been doing this for a while. What made you start in this field and what you do to help others in that?
Well, it's interesting because it's a story. Everybody has a story, and I have a story, and things. There's new stories that come about, but I was born with a form of cerebral palsy that impacted the right side of my body. So I had to wear a brace till I was 18, and I remember going 9 or 10 years old. I went to summer camp, and I didn't wear that brace that I was supposed to wear for the whole summer. And I'll be nice here on this podcast. He said to me, like, you should do those exercises if you want to walk like a normal person. And I did them, and it changed my life. And I realized how important it was, those moments in time, how important it is. Going back, I think that's what makes me relatable to people, to understand where they are, because everybody's got a story. And you mentioned about accountability and excuses, right? Mm-hmm. We can all make excuses, but also feel more comfortable about who you are in your own skin, being happy who you are, but also health and fitness. There's all these aspects that are really important. So that's how I started. And, it's like, it's been such a long time, it's just, but that makes me relatable to other people because when I'm talking to someone, I know the struggles someone has.
Yes.
Getting people comfortable with where they are right now to help them start and begin the process.
Ooh, thanks, Evan, for sharing that. See, that's why I love when people tell their stories, because some people they feel like, well, nobody don't understand what I'm going through or something similar. And then when you come out and you're doing what you're doing, amazing stuff, they're like, really? They went through that? So it's mind blowing.
And also too, like, I was fortunate to be able to play soccer and basketball in high school and play sports. And that was a big feat for me to do those things. Most people don't have access to playing sports and things like that. And even if you're an athlete, you think you should be training like you did when you're in high school and college. It doesn't work that way. At the same time, that's why over the last couple of years, I've thought about, okay, how can we establish a new skill set? Because this is something, being healthy is very important. Most people don't realize it until we get older, because now the time is looming. You want to spend time with your family. We need to make money, but we want to have the money to be able to spend on things we want to do and share with people, not the medical expenses.
Right.
And there's my soapbox, there's 25 different diseases that can be controlled with diet and exercise. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But get people thinking about how important it is to learn how to spend a minimum amount of time every day to take care of your body. I'm not a big fan. I know you said self-care. I'm not a big fan of that phrase. But when you take care of your health, it shows that you love yourself. That's what I say. And so really taking time to really be present for learning something new about yourself, because exercise is important, eating the right, because we actually focus on emotional fitness,
right,
physical health, and performance. All those areas related to health, right? And so those are things we need to focus on and really how to make it part of our day. We make excuses why we can't do them, and then we wonder why we can't do certain things. We want to walk upstairs, carrying groceries or taking time with our family. So
that's like one of the things for me, one of the things that I've realized that I literally have to do when I'm doing podcasts. It's not, because when the podcast ends, I automatically stand up. But when I'm working on something at my desk, I literally have to set a timer to make sure that I stand up. Because I think the statistic is like for every 45 minutes that you sit, you should stand up for at least 5 or 10 minutes. You should stand up. Well, I'll set my timer, and it's right on my computer screen, and the timer will be going off, and I'm sitting there going, it hasn't been 45 minutes. Well, yeah, I guess it has been, because I'm the one that set the timer.
Yeah.
And you don't realize what time has passed.
But that being said, like when we're talking about overall health, like I focus in the areas mindset, mobility, muscle metabolism.
Right, exactly.
In those areas, mindset's very important, because health is living with intention in everything we do.
Right.
And so impacts no matter whether someone's looking to buy a house or do things, it's the intention of doing something that's health, making a healthy choice.
Mm-hmm.
But also too is learning a new skill set, because most times when you go to a doctor, he'll say, well, go out and walk.
Yeah.
If you can't walk for 15 minutes, well, I don't think it's worth it. Well, sure it is. But walking is only one aspect. The most missing link for everybody, and women especially, men too, is strength training.
Right.
Building lean muscle tissue. As we age, it's really important overall, because most people look at the show muscles. The show muscles are the ones that everybody sees and say, well, I don't want to look like that. But it's not about how you look, it's how you feel and what happens inside. Because what happens inside is your muscles are working to move blood through your body, organs work more efficiently, and the opportunity for your body to work at its best self and to fight immunity and to fight against disease. And so once if we can understand that truly, then we know, okay, how do we do strength training? How does that really impact you? And you can do it less than 25 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day. But this is one reason why people are becoming more sick. We're getting people are getting sicker by the minute because they're relying on the medical community to tell them, hey, just take this medication. We're living longer, but the quality of life isn't as bad, isn't as good.
Oh, that's so true.
Also too is being present for yourself and being mindful. Well, I'm ready to take this on right now. I'm willing to learn what I need to do for myself and taking that time for me. And because this is you're going to hear more and more about muscle health, but that's the missing link for everybody, because everybody can talk about wellness, but wellness is there's more to it than just exercise, of course.
Right.
But at the same time, it's nourishing your body, right? With the right types of nutrition, water, nutrient, vegetables, lean protein, healthy fats, and supplementation. So all those goes hand in hand with each other.
And one of the things too for me is sunshine. Go outside. So many people, especially like now, as we've had this, when are we going to stop doing time changes? Side note.
Guilty. I forgot about the time change. It was like midday Sunday that I actually realized that it was the time change.
It was an hour, but
And the thing is, though, but go outside, because as the days are shorter, you have a shorter time span. But you know what? Where does vitamin D come from? The sun.
Yeah.
So go outside, even if it's only for 10 minutes. Sit outside. Take a sunshine break.
I want to share some with you, because I think you're spot on. But also, this is also too is why it's overall to have a plan of attack for your health, because we have the intention of doing certain things. But did you know that your gut health is so important to your brain? So if you're not taking care of your nutrition and eating right, or something as simple as drinking more water, gives you access to feel better and make better choices and decisions. And that's also being disciplined. Like you mentioned about setting a timer, it's great. But also too, is there certain things that can be done so you don't need the timer, but you always but at the same time, you're disciplining yourself to do something new that you're going to see a benefit in the near future. Right. That's the opportunity. Right. So it's
for me, when I don't set the timer and I go too long, it's like, oh, yike, I should have set a timer, because then I'm a little stiffer when I get up.
Give yourself grace to be able to say it's okay today.
It's okay today. Exactly.
The opportunity is, as you start learning, discipline yourself to do certain activities, your schedule. To me, the realization too of time management, being mindful of your time, because when you start on time, end on time, and also when I write stuff down, and it gives me a time to put something aside that I didn't complete, that I can say, hey, listen, this is done for now, but now I can go to something else. If I don't write it down, my mind can go race all the time. But that's also the emotional fitness aspect of it too.
Right.
I have to. Yeah, I found out, I don't know, maybe because I'm getting older, I don't know, but I have to write stuff down. It's like, and I like the check off, because some people are like, well, I use my phone, my notes on the phone, or I go to Word document. I say, you know what, that's nice, and I do that too. But for some reason, with me having that pad, writing it down and then striking it out when I'm done.
Barbara J, isn't that a success? I mean, like when you write it on a piece of paper and you check it off, that's a check mark of success for that one moment that you actually did, right? So you feel good, and then you want to do it more because I got to check it off, get this done.
Yeah. I get excited. I'd be like, "Ooh, I want to check off another one." So it's just something about that. It's like, whoosh, and I do it like, it feels like, oh, that's done, and it does. It gives you just sigh of like, wow, I got something completed. Yeah.
And that's why it's so important on every day. Set yourself a to-do list, but don't make yourself a to-do list that is so long that you can't possibly get to it.
I made that mistake.
What are your, I used to do that. And then of course I would get to the end of the day and the stuff that I did wasn't on the to-do list. Barbara?
This is also too, I run a challenge group, and we're looking at different things in terms of business and also personal things for health. Creating a possibility of goals for yourself. What do you want to accomplish in the next 5 years, 1 year? And like, is it in line with your to-do list? Right. Looking, okay, what, are your goals in line with what you said you're going to do? And so looking at that and saying, okay, like prioritizing what's most important. What can I'm learning how to delegate more effectively, because there's some things you can delegate, some things that you can do yourself, and some things I have joy doing myself. I want to do them. And there's some things that I'm stubborn. I'm the only one who could do this. That ain't true. It's just me being stubborn.
Yeah. But isn't it fun that we can't accept that about ourselves, and give over the things that, like with me, I know that if Barb left the back of the house stuff to me for this podcast would no longer be on. Not my skill set, nor do I want to learn it. But Barb loves it.
But that's good. You're taking ownership. I don't want to learn it.
I don't want to learn it.
I was like, she not only don't want to do, she's like, I don't even want to think about it.
I want to learn it.
Barb does that. So I think we all have certain things in our life. I mean, I know I do. I mean, I'm in business, and I know I laugh at this sometimes. I'm in business, but I hate sales. I hate doing sales because I always feel like that salesperson from the car dealership, and if you want to buy this, and then you can buy that, and then if you want to get this, like, okay, there's a different way to do this, Barbara. That's why I hate it so much. And I'm learning just to build relationships now, not so much of you got to tell them this, you got to tell them that, because I just feel like I'm just that sales person. So
I think also too, like, there's all these aspects of business, and you have to be good at every one of them. Yet you don't have to be. You have to find the right people to support and help you with that. Like, Barbara and I met on Alignable, and I'm into networking and building relationships, but it's one aspect, and I'm getting present to, like, it's one aspect. I have to be better at all the other social media things that are really important. And that takes time too, and learning those skill sets, or letting go and letting someone else do it and building me up. Right. Yeah. Those are things that, being present for that and being available for that.
And that's where I think giving ourselves grace also comes in, because I for myself, I'm going to be totally transparent, is that I tend to be an all or nothing. If I can't do it all, then I don't do any of it. And it's like, oh, for heaven's sakes, Barbara, you do not have to do all of it today. Mm-hmm. What is one thing that you can do for today?
Mm-hmm. But it's amazing to me how much you can get accomplished in an hour or 6 hours. And so that also going all or nothing, it's like you can get it all accomplished, but how do you prioritize your time?
Right.
If you don't have a plan of attack or addressing it, then you feel a sense of overwhelm and like, oh, I can't do it all. Mm-hmm. But you can. Right. With the right plan, you can.
With the right plan. My husband used to always say, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he was a great planner. And so we would plan a vacation and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, and it really does. And now I must admit, I have embraced that. Okay, Barbara, this is your plan for today. And I try to sit down beforehand and say, okay, is this an inspired plan? Is this the best use of my time, resources, and energy right now? And sometimes the answer is like, oh yeah, no, this has a more priority. So let's do that and then come back to this, because sometimes our ego gets in the way of us.
But that's also managing your time. You like things get thrown in your way, but also having a backup plan to say it. And that's also, that's also living with intention of like being, when I talk about health, that's living with intention, because you can get overwhelmed. And we talked about writing things down. When you write it down, you have, to me, I feel I have a good place to stop, because if I didn't write it down, my mind would, I got to get this done. I'm all nervous. I got it. And to some extent, you're still going to have that, but that's also learning how to communicate with yourself, because most people are so, I'd be thrown in jail if I talked to myself the way that I.
Yeah, me too. I'll be in there right with you, Evan.
Right, we all have that.
But that's also, learning. But that's also the grace of taking care of yourself. We're all work in progress, and our life, is just beginning today. It's like a new day starts today when you decide to do something new.
Yeah,
and learning a new skill set, and that's.
And every new skill has a learning curve. And I think so often, just when we get to the top of the learning curve, that is just, so hard and so hard and so hard, and we're just about to go over the top, that's when so many people quit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the last.
And they never go over the top of the learning curve.
But the last 4 years, my business has not changed in 20 years. I still serve clients. I still talk about the same things I talk about and educate them to be healthy, the best version of themselves. The words have changed because I'm trying to make a difference in a different way, because I'm trying to communicate, because different times have changed. But how I deliver the service is different because of the way things are. But at the end of the day, I'm saying the same message, and not everybody wants to listen, but they have to.
If they want results.
The thing is, we're getting of age. I'm getting of age where I've had family and friends that, like you try to talk to them about their health and do things, and they don't do anything, and then they get sick, and then it's nerve-wracking because you really want to help. And sometimes it's simple things that could be done.
Right.
And it's very sad. I mean, I don't mean it. This is a happiness podcast. We got to get upright. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, there's simple things we can do. And because you do that, you start to show that you love yourself, and you build your self-esteem and confidence, and build discipline and persevere, and all these things that are really attributes that really can help you take on your life.
Right.
What matters most to you.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? I was going to say real quick, Evan, when you said, wait a minute, we got to speed it up. But it's okay. I always tell people it's good to tell everything, because you can't always be happy. And you can't always be like, for your clients, you'd be like, oh, my clients do everything I want them to do, and I tell them this and that. Now, good and well, we have clients that no matter what you say to them, they're going to do the total opposite or nothing at all. And you're like, really? And, I told one client that I said, you pay me such and such dollars, right? They said, yeah, I do. I said, why are you wasting it? And they're like, huh? What are you talking about, Barbara? I said, why are you wasting it? I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I want to be your coach. I want to help you. So this is helping you right now. Don't waste money because you're not putting stuff into action. If you're not putting stuff in action, we might as well tell this contract and tear it up. And they were like,
that's also too is everybody's at a place, there's a lot of stuff out there. Our services are not free. However, there's a lot of free information out there, and people are told this and that and make a true commitment. And if they're not willing to commit, there's something in their way that's keeping them. And so that's also the opportunity for you to like try to be present for them, to like learning something, a new skill set. It's like, to me, that's where it is, learning a new skill set, because it's not working for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to figure out what it is. If you're
What it is.
that's the way things are, then there's no reason to change.
Yeah, because there's something there. I mean, like you said, Evan, there's something there that's stopping something. There's something, and you might. I always say, dig a deeper. Me and Barbara always talking about doing that dig for people.
Yeah.
Go deeper.
That's the power of the question, right? The power of the question, how you can get them to open up to you about what they are. And Barbara, I don't really know exactly what business you're in, except you're the happy podcaster. But the thing is, my business is the same thing, right? I mean, like we're asking, digging deep questions to get people to take action on what they should be doing.
Right.
And it's no different.
Right. Exactly. And it's finding out what people, what they desire for themselves. And sometimes it can be something so deep that they don't even know it themselves.
Until they talk it out. Yeah.
Until they talk it out. And like, I've had that experience myself and which is why I got a coach. I mean, when like my stories, I mean, after David died, I had no idea of who I was outside of all the labels that I had put on myself. Well, now I work with people who have no idea who they are outside of their job title or their job description. And the 3 areas that we've been talking about, in their mental, in their physical, and also I add in their financial, because lots of times if you're not happy within yourself, that's part of it is money. Okay, so let's figure out what you need to work on first. And that's where that questioning comes in. But they have to be willing to take that first step. And until they are.
Yeah. And I like what Evan said earlier, and Barbara, you said it too. We said it. It gives you the opportunity now. That's a good word to show. I mean, when people are kind of like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, where's my mindset, whatever the case may be, as us as coaches or, as educators, we can look at it as, okay, this is another opportunity for you now. This is an opportunity for us to really see what really is the cause of it. Because I care enough to tell you, okay, don't pay me no more because I want you to do what you need to do. I'd rather for you to get what you need to get. Let's dig deeper instead of you keep paying me and we keep going through the same merry-go-round of getting nothing done.
Going around the same mountain, but not going anywhere.
Well, they say it's hard. It's hard to realize that you're here and it's not working because you didn't do anything. Then it's hard to really set the discipline to get what you really want.
Right.
Choose your heart.
And sometimes just to sit quietly with yourself and go, all right, without beating yourself up.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Without beating yourself up.
But that's also being at a place to realize where you are right now, where I am right now is because of the situation, experience I had from the past. It doesn't have to dictate who I'm going to be.
Right.
But at the same time, it's being present to say, okay, these are things I need to learn, the skills I need to learn to be successful in this area. And that's the biggest gap, I think, because Simon said it, create your why, and that's the answer. And it's the answer, but it's like, what are you doing to create the discipline to get what you really want?
To get the why,
Okay.
Exactly. And that's where having a coach comes in.
That's where the book, when he talks about that book and purpose, there's a big part of that people miss. And and people think about exercise as being as building big muscle, but it's like there's so many other benefits to exercising and nourishing your body. As I said, taking care of yourself and loving yourself, but also gives you presence to be leadership skills, to lead by example because you're leading, you're your family, and also being present to make better decisions on things because you're able to. And also when you run a business, listen, to have a business where people show up happy and healthy to really want to perform for you, it's different. People that are just disgruntled, they're leaving and they're not showing up to work because they're sick and unhealthy.
Yes, definitely. Wow. Well, this has been great, Evan. And see, now that you've been on, your family, so you can always come back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, and just so people know to reach Evan, I'm going to put here You can reach him at his his website there with Evan. And also, please, people, take the time out, like Evan said. And we're saying, even if it's just one healthy thing that you do, and maybe you do it for 10 minutes. I mean, start somewhere. That's what I always tell. That's what I tell myself all the time. So, and don't, like Barbara said, don't beat yourself up. Start somewhere. Do it and say, hey, I did it. Congratulate yourself. Do the victory dance. And then, say to yourself, well, I'll try it again the next day. And that's where you build the momentum of moving. So thank you, Evan, for teaching us and showing us that. And I'm definitely going to be hooking up with you in a line. I got to do that alignment, do that alignable, whatever that you're saying, because I'm with people.
Yeah, I have met some fabulous people.
Yeah.
On Alignable.
Yeah, one thing we actually did, I started the Wellness Exchange on Alignable. It's a networking event and a group that we have on Alignable. We're actually marketing it to 275,000 health professionals. So I started that, and I'm really excited about the opportunity to really connect and collaborate with other health professionals.
That is
healthy. That's really great.
I mean, wellness is number one. It's trillions of dollars that people spend on wellness, but it's more than just the physical wellness. Yeah. It's the camaraderie of wellness.
Interesting. Wellness is social, physical, yes. all these aspects.
All of the above.
And the number one thing about health is socialization. That's why, in terms of exercise programming, people are aligning more with group classes because of the socialization aspect.
Right.
So
it helps. Yeah.
You can get in talking about it more. So I know we got time. So
yeah. So with that, Barbara, we always got to make a little time for your last.
Oh yeah, just what. And I think Evan's probably heard this too, but I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception, because I believe that we all deserve exactly what we're talking about. We deserve to lead happy, healthy, debt-free, abundant lives. However, we can't know everything all ourselves. And this is where this show comes in, getting a coach comes in. So if you want help to be happier, because when things are more positive in your life, it's more you're happier. When things are negative, you're unhappy. Well, let's work on having more positive things happen in your life. But sometimes we need help to do that. And so let's all help each other.
And part of it is having the Time to Shine Happiness show to guide you that way. Exactly. So with that, we will see everybody next Tuesday. And thanks again, King Evan, for coming on the show. We appreciate you so much and coming back. And Barbara, as always, love you, lady. And we'll see each other next Tuesday.
We'll see you next Tuesday.